Starting. We're live, I think. Hey, can everyone hear us? I'll take that as a yes.
I'm good.
All right. Well, we're going, I think.
It's all deadly.
It's really awkward with this delay in the chat. Oh, great. Cool. Getting confirmation. So we're still new to this, so I apologize. A little awkward start there, but hello. Comic Books NYC, DS Comics, TJ Watson in the house, the king of the night. If anyone hasn't seen Donatos's A-OK from TJ, it's the most bananas thing.
Did you watch? Yeah, we were all in there for part two. That's the funny thing. We were like,
Tony Sanders, what is up? Wingnut. I got issues 2319.
funny.
All right, so let's get this started. Welcome everyone to week 2 of comic book new release comic book day club. What are we calling it?
New Comic Book Day Book Club.
Yeah, there we go.
New Comic Book Day Book Club.
I think I came up with the title too, and I don't even know what it's called. Today we're talking about Hex Wives. I got both covers because I'm a sucker.
I am as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, this was the only prison copy they had, and it's a little dinged up, but that's all right. With us tonight, we have John's Comics with Kids, my cohort in this endeavor.
Hello, everybody. I'm sorry to say I did not get that Frizen cover, and I'm still upset with my LCS because they promised they would have it for me, and I got there, and they must have gotten some that were damaged or something. So they didn't have a single one. They had one book left on the shelf, and it was this one. And I was like so glad that I didn't have to go to another comic book shop at like 5:30 to try to find that. My girls wanted to go trick-or-treating. So I got one.
The good thing you got the book we're talking about. Brandon Stolinsky joined, and we also have tonight with us Star-Lord, aka JD.
I am here. You guys hear me?
Yes,
oh yeah.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween to you as well. Hope everyone had a fun and safe evening. All right, so we ready to dive right in?
I think so.
Let's do it.
All right, so first impressions for me. I don't know. I've got a lot to say about this book. I went into it really wanting to like it. I was super excited about this book. I'm a big Vertigo fan, and I feel like they haven't had a knock it out of the park book in a while. And this was getting a lot of hype, so I was hoping that this might be the one, and it fell short for me.
Okay.
John?
John.
Or JD, either
No,
one.
it's fine. JD, you go for it, man. You were ready.
Well, I like the I'll say that the artwork, the cover, obviously I love the Jolie Jones cover. I enjoyed that very much. I did like the cover of Jenny Frizen's cover, and that somewhat doesn't really justify what I'm going to say. It started off, and I was like, oh God, here we go. And then I am kind of intrigued about the story, but I wanted it to be so much more. The flow was pretty good. I love history, so it had a lot of history stuff in there. But then it got real, I don't want to say hokey, I'll say kind of stereotypical of what I was afraid it was going to be ended up what it was.
I will say, obviously coming off of last week, I think this is a much superior book, no question. And I went in real blind. I knew the title and I'd seen the covers, and that's pretty much it. I had no knowledge base. And first issues I know are tough to nail. I think that I did love the history aspect, and I loved for me, the best part about it was the way they layered in like male and female stereotypes through history, the way they really looked at like that housewife role in the 50s versus the that woman that was supposed to be like creating your family for you back in the early 1600s, or then there was even that little glimpse of the Titanic, all that kind of little stuff.
Yeah,
I dug the crap out of that. Like that had me, like, floored me the way they kind of built that. I think they rushed through a lot of stuff because they wanted to pack it all in, and that's for me where it fell short story wise. I just felt like there's like 7 or 8 of these witches, girl, and they're blipping through them, like, and I'm trying to keep track of who everybody is.
So that's funny you should say. That was hard for me because there are only 3 witches.
Wait a sec.
So wait, what? There are 3 witches. So I want to say hi to a couple people who joined. I got issues. I think I already said hi, but hello again. C. Woodard in the house. Kachung. Who else we got? Who else did I miss?
Wait, like all these? I'm like looking at all these ladies.
Thomas Churchill. Yeah. So
only 3 of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
The blonde lady, the 2 blonde ladies are a mother and daughter who are, I believe, working for the bad guys. Well, the bad guys.
If they want to call, the men.
Right. So
the way it's written, they are bad guys.
Right. But so, okay, I have a couple questions that my biggest problem with this was an issue with, I was very confused by a couple things. Comics with Bueller just joined. Hello. Thanks for joining and stopping by.
Bueller.
I got issues, by the way. Artie said that he's not picking up number 2. So
yeah, I saw that.
So the witches are set up as the heroes of this story, right? Because they seem to be doing no wrong, and then they are being hunted by these men. But then suddenly, they're in Katrina, slaughtering people.
Yeah,
which I felt was a really weird choice. Like, that raised questions as to what their motivations were. And then, I got issues brought up that there's a lot of cliffhangers already in the first one. It said, who's in the chair of the dark, that's calling it a nuke. Obviously, that is a question. And I thought the 3 years later with periods between each one was a little hokey.
Well, and it was like confusing that it went 3 years later, but
back to
in
the 50s.
sense of like history, we're all of a sudden back in the 50s or something.
Right. So here's my second question. They say that they, are reborn, and when they're born, they have no memories until they reconvene with the devil or whatever. So, but in 2005, they're clearly witches in Katrina, and then 3 years later, they don't remember anything.
Yeah, that's one of the things. And I didn't want to say my nickname for it this early, but the way I kind of looked at this was, it started off as, the main character, the protagonist, she was a badass. I'll be honest with you, she was a badass. Yeah. She was coming in, she was really good and everything else. And then all of a sudden they put her in this, and I'm going to call it my nickname for this. It's the Hexford Wives. It's kind of like a combination of Desperate Housewives and the Stepford Wives at the end. And I'm like, wait a second, this is a badass woman who did everything earlier, and now she's arguing about cake.
Yeah. So
okay.
Let me ask this to the group and you guys. I feel like it would have been better, pacing wise, if it started off in this 50s setting, and we slowly were revealed to the fact that they were witches, and the story about how they're being held captive and all this stuff, instead of just having all this history being thrown at us, which it started in Salem. I'm from Massachusetts, so that's kind of cool. But, Salem witches, like, obviously. So, what do you guys think about that? If they had cut that whole beginning part and the whole book is set, and then because the reveal at the end wasn't a reveal for me. Like, I knew he was going to be the husband, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, okay, expected, but it's set up to be, here we go. Here's the big cliffhanger. And I'm like, well, actually, I want to know more about what happened earlier.
DS, you're asking who the writer is. It's Ben Blacker.
Yeah.
He's the writer. I don't know that I know him from anything. Maybe somebody else in the chat does. But I will say, like, I'm not as I do agree that it would have been more interesting maybe to start with the element in the 50s. I think the way they're doing it is interesting. I kind of like the idea that she's super powerful, and then we're forced to see her living out something that is so clearly not who she is. Obviously, there's all the underlying like homosexual versus heterosexual elements involved, where they're forcing her to live out an existence that is so clearly the opposite of who she truly is as an individual. They're robbing her of all the elements that are her core, right? Her sexuality. They're robbing her of her magical identity. They're taking everything away from her,
which is
reverting her to the most pitiful female form in some ways, the most meek of female forms. And I could appreciate that transition because it sets up a place for them to go, right, in the sense that we're now going to be waiting with anticipation for her breakout.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. And like, it's clearly very allegorical as far as like the 50s woman and their role.
I was reminded of the line from the movie Soap Dish where the director's like, we're making a statement here, folks, but let's not underline the statement. Let's just make the statement. Yeah. It's like, these guys were not going for layers of meaning. They just wanted to like hit that note really clearly.
Yeah. It's like,
and there was no second layer really.
Hit it with a baseball bat.
Right.
Kachung is saying maybe the willing kiss has already happened and now they're being captive again. And he has to continue. Maybe he has to continue kissing her. I thought that as well. C. Woodard says, agree 100%. White Whale first half of the book could have been a separate issue, but I got issues said, or it would have been better fleshing out the history stuff into more of the book and then having the darkroom chair figure at the end of the first issue as a cliffhanger. Yeah, I mean, I think either would have worked. I just think that plot structure allegory. I just like the pictures. I got issues said.
Yeah, right. Just give me the naked ladies, right? I got issues.
The book did have boobies.
It did have boobies. And it had a little lesbian action. But I don't know, when you guys were reading it, and anybody who read this, anybody in the chat, did you get confused? I mean, I made the mistake of reading the Snickers ad as it was part of the story.
Someone else said that.
I totally
did as well.
I'm literally sitting there, and I kind of glanced over. I'm like, do we do Green Lanterns in this? And I'm like, what?
Dude. I thought all of a sudden they're at a Comic-Con.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm so confused. And
someone said that. I missed who it was, but someone else said that.
Well, they're already
Comic Books NYC.
So much.
Thomas Churchill also said he was guilty of that.
Okay, good. I'm not the only guy. I don't feel like a fool. Now, another thing I wanted to.
For anyone who doesn't, here, let me show the pages just in case. Like here we go. Right, you've got on one side the story jumping in time and space, and on the other side you've got the ad for DC and
the art is not dissimilar.
It's like you just can't tell what's happening. It clearly seems like it's all part and parcel. It took me several reads before I realized what the heck was wrong with me.
I will say that I'm a big fan of period comics that aren't superhero related, or even some that are, but I'm a big fan of that. And they went in some great areas, like White Whale said. Alec brought up the fact that he's from Massachusetts and he loved the Salem. I love that Salem. It was actually really got me into it. Then they went a little fast into the Old West time, and then it just started to get a little, all right, we're going to show the Titanic. Okay, but we have half a panel, half a page, and then we've got what looks like somebody from Orange is the New Black killing a Nazi. And then you've got, I mean, I'm going to show you this right here.
Yeah, no, that's my
exactly
favorite.
What the reference was. And it's a great panel. I mean, the artwork, I'm going to give compliments.
And the Titanic page is in there too, that little Titanic.
Yeah, right here with this Vlad the Impaler thing going on.
Right.
Yeah. But then you got people thrown off of buildings, and then you're in Katrina.
Comic Books NYC said he bought a Snickers bar after. No
yeah,
you didn't have to buy him today, man. You could just go to anybody's house, put on a mask.
My girl's got my girl's got 5 pounds of candy. We just weighed it.
Oh my!
BS Comics says love anything with severed heads. Yeah, for sure. Me too.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Fun fact about Salem: the police officers have on their insignia patches have witches on them.
Very cool.
Wow. Well, and I'm not sure like how accurate the play The Crucible is to the characters, but there were several references to. I know that play way better than I know the actual history of Salem.
Abigail Williams and
yeah, they throw out the names of a lot of the characters from that play, which I'm assuming might be related to the actual truth of the incident. But they were throwing them out towards the beginning, and I geeked out a little over some of those names, just seeing them again in print.
I love anything where someone like calls out like how badass they are. Like, I am the destroyer of worlds. I am the in Animal Man #1, to Jeff Lemire.
That's a great book.
Back in the day, there's something where he's in the red, and he said there's a bunch of monsters, and it says, "We are the rot in the red. We are the flesh made sickness," and that sticks with me, man. That's such a badass line.
Kachug says they could have swapped out 3 pages of the coffee and cooking talk for 3 more pages of the slaughtering history half naked.
I mean, there was a whole page of her getting. I mean, I don't know if you ever have to watch your wife ever get ready, but this was just, I didn't get this page.
I kind of liked that page so despite
kind of built up the Hex Wives thing.
Yeah, despite my complaints about how they did the book, since they did the book that way, I kind of like that page because it showed, I feel like, how ordinary her life had become.
Mundane, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that it's a better book than that Spider Ghost.
No, man, that was.
I wouldn't even hear about Spider Ghost if it wasn't for some variant going crazy.
Yeah.
Everywhere in every shop I go to, you know, I don't go to that many shops, but every time they're like, "Oh, do you have the Spider Ghost?"
Hey, Thanatos, welcome.
Oh, dude, Thanatos.
I hope you're recovered from your stream earlier enough. Thanks for joining us.
Congratulations, Matt, and well deserved. Great people, TJ Watson, an amazing person, and both of you guys made me very excited about it. And watching Matt open up those boxes actually just warmed my heart.
Yeah, it was tremendous, incredible.
It's an amazing moment.
I'm having whiskey right here just for Matt. I this is legit my family label because I'm John Jameson, so this is John Jameson. It's nothing near as good as what you were drinking, but it's literally just because I've been watching you drink it for the last 2 hours or whatever.
I think I have some Jameson in the house. Nice.
Kachung just brought up Heroes in Crisis. I was going to show it anyway because
other books everybody got. Yeah.
I just wanted to shout out this book for this week because Tom King is 2 issues in.
He's king, man. He's king.
He's annihilating this title. It's like, I'm not even the biggest DC guy, but it is.
Honestly, his Batman stuff is just as good. I've been loving his Batman.
Mr. Miracle has been I can't wait for issue 12. But there was a scene with I don't spoil anything, but there's a scene with the Flash in issue 2 that is.
All right, I look forward to that.
One thing on Hex Wives, of the Frisian cover or the Jolie Jones cover. Now I'm not blaspheming here, but I'm kind of biased about the Jolie Jones cover, and the reason being is that her style, and Jenny Frisen's style is. Well, that happens. I'm not worried about it. Is really good. I love Jenny Frisen. Who doesn't? But I love Jolie Jones has not changed. This is actual. I'm going to show this because I had her draw for me a Thanos, and I'm going to try to show you here. The glare. Now I had her. This is Jolie Jones. She doesn't change her styles. Her technique has been the same, but this is 5 years ago, and she was a lot younger back then. Well, 5 years younger, and she's done. I just like this cover. And no offense to Jane Frisen, this is a great cover too. But I know that the color contrast of the book and the fire in the background of this one, it's, one of the things that I wanted to ask you about this is a lot of the covers that everybody seems to talk about, especially this. Speaking of last week, I didn't get a chance to. Covers used to be a lot busier. Now
Sure.
it's like one big thing with a distorted background. I gave this compliments for the cover just because it's busy and you know something's going on. And it reminds me of that meme of that girl with the house fire behind her. There's something to this about that. You know, I like. Oh, and Ben Blacker, by the way, I think he wrote Supernatural, like the TV show.
Oh, really?
He was
Really?
part of that. Yeah, he's been around.
Kachung asked if anyone received their daily download from their wife today.
Dude, I know. Dude, we got some funny guys rolling through that chat right now.
Like it, yeah.
So do we want to run through our? Is it adding to your poll list, or are we skipping it next week?
I do want to say one more thing about it. So they're like basically in the Truman Show, right?
Basically, yeah.
Hexford Wives.
Yeah, because the fire is keeping them in the neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah, there's sort of a metaphorical element to the spell that's surrounding them, right?
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, poll or skip. It's, you know, I know we said we weren't going to like waver on this decision.
Right. No hemming and hawing. No, I got called out for it last time.
So like my instinct is to say skip. Like I'm curious to see where the story goes, but like not curious enough to buy the next issue. And I'm sorry if you hear my cat going insane. We have this huge bald patch in our carpet now right by the door because she just is like desperate to get in this room, and like, you're not getting my comics, cat.
She can't be any louder than my girls with their candy running through the halls.
Yeah, I got issues said they're definitely in 2018, but they're tricking them somehow in the 50s dream. Yes, that's
no him and a han.
I got.
I will pick up issue number 2. I'm gonna let my wife read this. I am gonna pick up issue number 2. I don't like adding things to my pull list because I actually trust myself going into the shop early. I got a guy, we go there together, and I also have a Midtown Comics pull list, and I'm not going to put this on there. I prefer my LCS, to be honest with you, but I am going to pick up issue 2 because I'm going to give it a few more shots. I'm probably going to see where this story goes, and maybe I'll do a little conversation with you guys, and I'll tell you what I think of it there. White Whale, I kind of like the artwork, though.
The artwork was cool.
The artwork was cool, and I'm not usually a buyer for art in any ways, but it's just I want to give it another shot. Maybe they go back to a different time other than the Hexford Wives. So,
and I think JD, that's exactly where I fell on it. There was enough going on, and I liked enough of what they were trying to set up that I'd be willing to give it. I'd give it one more. I'm going to give it one more issue, so I'm going to pick up the next one as well. And if it's got a Frizen cover for the second one, then it's lights out, no brainer.
2 out of 3. So we got some people in the chat chiming in. DS Comics asked what the cover price is. It is $3.99 American dollars. I got issue said, I'm going to read issue 2 while standing in the comic store. I'm sure the owners of your LCS will appreciate that. Comic books.
Thomas Churchill says he's getting it.
Yeah,
no, he's passing on it. I mean, he's passing.
NYC said he's going to get number 2 as a curiosity, but for the live stream, I think something else might be better. Yeah, we're probably not going to do like a lot of number 2s unless something like is really a club banger.
Right. I like Kachung's comment. I'll give it. It's kind of like a Edward Scissorhands neighborhood.
It's funny that Kachung said that.
Wives, so I'm going to call this Hexford Wives. I mean,
well, and I when I was describing the cover that I wanted to get to my LCS, I told him it looked like something out of a Tim Burton, like Beetlejuice. That girl's got the skin that's like all crazy fluorescent blue or whatever. Like I described it as Beetlejuice. So to see him say Edward Scissorhands, I totally agree.
Wingnut says he's going to sort it, give it a try, see if they can sort it out. Tony Sanders says pass. Halloween is over. C-Word said definitely pass. I got issue said Green Lantern next week, which is spoiler alert what we are doing. Hate to jump ahead, but one Hex Wife is enough for me. Comics with Bueller says. It was too much promise, too much under deliver for me.
Yeah, so we are doing Green Lantern next week. It's Grant Morrison, I think, is the writer on that next run of Green Lantern. So be ready for that, and we'll have a guest host as well, just as awesome as JD, no question. But we have to get to our topic, our discussion topic.
Yes, our discussion topic for the
Or
week.
did you want to go? What else you picked up today at your LCS?
Well, I know you got one book you want to show.
Oh well, I also picked up this, and this is Shanghai Red's last issue. They did a series. This is their book. It's great. It's just from Image Comics, Shanghai Red. This is number, I think, 5, and I picked up that. I don't know if anybody picked up the Avengers Halloween special.
That cover is awesome.
Cover's good.
I was like, oh my god, that's
Give
so
that a
much
shot. I think Jerry Dugan would one, and Bone Parish.
Yeah, the cover's incredible.
This is a good one. And if you didn't notice, the back cover's badass.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's really good.
Kachung says, anyone want to read Witches? That's Witches with a Y by Scott Snyder. Halloween special also came out today. It was $8. I picked it up. I got suckered into it.
So, very cool. And
my only other big pickup today had to be the Old Man Hawkeye, which I am just batshit crazy over. Like that Old Man Hawkeye. It's only 3 issues left, and I'm super bummed already that there's only 2 more after this one.
I got 2 old books. One I got back after 6 months of searching, and one I got because I found one for a guy who's a huge fan, and I didn't realize what it was. So he went out to a shop and found this for me. This is House of Mystery 179. Now the key with this is the first work of Bernie Wrightson ever in comics.
Oh wow. Very cool.
That was a nice little surprise.
Waiting 6 months for a book. What is it from CBCS?
This was CGC. Well, the story is that this guy found 2 of them, and he's a local guy here in town, and he has a lot of high-end books. I mean, like AF-15s in grades 5, 6, 7. He's nuts. But he found a book that I've been looking for and I've never owned before, and it was my goal for 2018. And I told him this in June, and in June he said, hey, I'm heading out to a con. I forget what con he was out, and he found 2 raw copies. They look good. He said they weren't restored. He got screwed on a few restored ones, but I got back my 2018 goal today, and that is, if anybody can see, Journey to Mystery 85, first appearance of Loki in a 5/5. And I've been waiting probably for 25 years at least to own one of these. And
yeah.
Dude, my oldest, her favorite villain is Loki, and she saw that, and I had to tell her what it was, of course, but she was like, "No way."
I've read it online so many times. I'm like, it's such iconic.
It's iconic, man.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy to have it. It's going right here.
Yeah,
I'm putting you right there, buddy.
There you go, man. Congrats, big congrats.
So we are going a little long, but if you guys are all right, hanging out for 5 more minutes, talk about our other topic.
Yeah.
So each week we want to do like another little quick discussion topic that kind of relates hopefully to the book we're reading. And this week's discussion is, what was the first non-superhero book you remember reading?
Okay. I'm going to start because it kind of fits with everything else. It's also by Vertigo, and it's old, and it is, well, I'll show you the cover. It's scalped. I actually had the first 24 issue leather bound. I own every single issue of this. This comic got me back into buying comics and not trade paperbacks, to be honest with you. After the early 90s and everything else, mid 90s, I probably switched and started going to trades. And Scalped by Jason Aaron, it's a phenomenal story. I was always, someone said, oh, it's going to be a TV series, you ruined it. I'm like, but I like the fact that I actually used to have this on a shelf with books, and I always said, oh, I'm going to get the rest of it bound. But this is the first non-hero book, and it's a great run.
Yeah, really good read. If no one's read that, it is it's awesome. It's a good crime story.
Yeah, it's a solid one, and I came to that one way later, and I was very glad when my LCS recommended it. I really was a superhero guy all the way through into college, so it took me a long time to break free of the firm grip of superheroes in comic books. When I did, it was Vertigo that busted me up, and I ended up getting into several comics all at the same time, and it's hard for me to figure out which one probably came first. I'm willing to bet it was Y the Last Man, which I just freaking love, and I've read the whole lot, and I don't have the first few, but I've got a whole bunch of that run. It's just an amazing, amazing story, and Brian K. Vaughan is just an amazing writer. At the same time, I was also, right around the same time, I got so hooked on that my LCS put me into 100 Bullets. They put me into Fables. So I went from none to all. Oh, dude, don't, no.
Since they're showing off slabs.
Oh, nice.
White Whale, you can't hold that up, man. You can't. That's.
I love
dude,
that.
Was that a 9.8?
Oh no, I wish the 9.2.
Oh my god, dude, that's awesome. So that was probably 100 Bullets for me. I'm sorry, Y the Last Man for me, but it was very quickly then 100 Bullets, Fables, and Y the Last Man all at the same time. I was collecting all of those. And Vertigo was just it was either everything I collected was either Marvel, Batman, or Vertigo.
I actually have a Fables tattoo.
Do you?
Yeah.
What is it? You got to tell me.
It is Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf. One of the issues where they had where the artist was doing the vertical borders between the pages,
right?
And it would like relate to which character it was. I got that vertical panel down my back of my arm.
That's killer, dude. That's killer. I mean, Storybook Love is still one of my all-time favorite trades. Like that whole series of issues where you're dealing with all those characters coming to terms with their what they all really want out of their lives, but what they were sort of promised by their fairy book life that they were supposed to live. Yeah, it's just awesome.
It's a great book. For me, it was probably Sandman, but Preacher is the one that really like
Neil Gaiman and
just like turned the switch. I was driving to college in 1998. Which seems like a million years ago because it was. And I had the first trade, and like the second I got to college, like I ran out and bought the second one. So I'm like, I have to keep reading this. It's ridiculous.
I don't know.
It's sad.
Donato says, let's see it.
All right. I've never read Sandman.
Really?
It's
I'm
good.
Sorry. It's
good. It's good.
It's a gap.
Let's see if
we
can get this.
Dude.
Can get that.
Nice panel.
That is flipping awesome.
Let me see if we can. There we go.
Wingnut threw out Doc Savage.
Oh, okay.
Which I've never read either. Tony Sanders is throwing out Akira.
Huh?
Some Sandman. Thanatos is throwing out Love for Sandman Forever. Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman. Actually, John, I just want to say thank you for.
Dude, what?
Number 1. Oh, wait. Hold on.
We're all going to have to walk out of here.
Number 8.
No, wait. No, the real question is, did TJ Watson send you all this?
No. I'm just trying my best to show off the best I can with what I got.
Hey, John, I want to thank you for that video you did about 100 Bullets. I actually got me into, and I ordered a trade.
Oh, hey.
Oh, yeah. You will not be disappointed.
But I do want to show something here. It's a picture, and I'm going to see if it looks good. And if you can tell me who these 4 guys are, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know what it is.
Okay.
But this is a great photo. If I just probably have to close this out. If you can see.
Donato says that
who these 4 guys.
Oh, yeah. That is.
Oh, sorry. It went away.
Okay.
That is Frank Miller, right?
Yep. I'll talk some more so you can hear it. Yep. You have Frank Miller.
That's Neil Gaiman, number 2.
Neil Gaiman. That's Bill Sienkiewicz.
Oh,
and that's Ernie Wrightson.
Yeah, it sure is.
Wow.
That's a Mount Rushmore right there.
Seriously.
Creepy writers and artists. Right? And I mean good stuff because I'm a huge fan, obviously. I mean,
just everything my daughters are not ready for.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because I actually handed Hex Wives back to the book to my wife. I said, I want you to read this and tell me what you think of it, because she does read a lot of the books. She does read like she read one series until she's done with it and until it's completed, and that's really good. But one at a time. She's not like us who buy 4 or 5 and spend the whole night trying to read it. But
and my wife usually likes nonfiction, so I'm gonna try to see if she'll give this one a shot myself. Thanatos, you've never read 100 Bullets.
Yeah,
dude,
dude, you should definitely pick it up because
Matt, I swear I didn't read it either, and I'm a big fan of those kind of books too.
And Azzarello, I know he can be hit or miss for some folks, but I think it's his masterpiece personally.
Yeah, and Eduardo Rizzo is just like, I'm probably gonna, if anyone's watching my artist review series, I'm definitely gonna do one on him because
I'm waiting for that one.
He's a master.
Bated breath, man. Bated breath.
The thing about 100 Bullets that I find really interesting is that it starts off like very episodic and then slowly builds in the larger story. And then by the time you're at the end, you're like, oh my God, you're building this from the beginning. And like you pulled the wool over our eyes. Spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, that's why.
It's not really a spoiler.
When I was telling Ryan originally that he should read it, he never read it. I just sent him the first 2 trades because I had extras. I had like reader trades and like the non-reader trades for my 100 Bullets. And I sent him 2 of them, but I was like, dude, I know that it's like slow, but like when you get to like the video I just released on my channel recently was issue 50 through 75. That's like the gold. Like I didn't think it could get better. And then issue 50 was like a gut punch. And then all the way to the end, I just couldn't believe it. look at JD.
Well, I'm just gonna say I'm excited about that.
Thanatos, you don't need to be ashamed. You should be excited that you have the opportunity to enjoy it for the first time.
Yeah, Matt, I'm going to agree with them on that because I'm excited about getting this trade. Okay, this is too hot.
I got issues.
Bringing all the Halloween love tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got issues as asking me what the status of my State of the Union project is. Have you like a due date on the video submissions? Yeah, I just released that video yesterday, I think. It's the end of November.
Yep.
You have until 70 something.
Just get your Dropbox ready, folks, because you get your Dropbox ready, and then you can make your video easily and send it through easily.
Speaking of I Got Issues 2319, I want to give a shout out to some people who gave us shout outs over the week. And sorry if I miss anybody, but it was hard to keep track. I Got Issues 2319 gave us a number of shout outs on Instagram, which I appreciate. Reggie Simmons, Comic Tom 101, Comic Books NYC, who's in the chat. Hulk Nuts 911 gave us a shout out. Comics with Bueller, who was in here at least earlier, all gave us shout outs.
And I know that like Ryan, Sir Sergeant, Tom's partner, he was always keeping it in Tom's ear and reminding Tom as well, because Tom's got so much in his mind. But like Ryan was really supportive. Carlito was really supportive. Yep. Tony Sanders.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I got a lot of people Instagramming me and letting me know, says good luck and it's your first live show, and technically, yeah, it was fun. It's great. Shout out definitely Tony Sanders and
for sure, Tony,
Comics with Bueller. Yeah, I Got Issues. He sent me something and I was like, he said something on his channel and I was just bruising through it. I loved it. It was great. I'm like, okay.
Comics with Bueller says I'm always around.
I love it, Bueller.
I wasn't keeping an eye on how many are watching, but we have 17, 18.
I think we were at 20 or 21, I think.
18
that's
right
nice.
now. So that's right around where we were last week, which is awesome. So
Werewolf by Lunchtime mentioned Rizzo on Moonshine was awesome. And I have to admit, I got a few of those Moonshine books as well.
His work on everything's amazing. C. Woodard says awesome show so far. Thanks very much.
Anybody want to mention what's coming up on their channels?
Okay, I'll start with that since I'm the guest. Thank you. I'm almost at 100 subscribers, and I'm gonna do
tonight. He's gonna get there tonight. Everybody sign up. Everybody
I'm at 98.
Yeah,
but he just needs 2 or 3 more. Let's do it.
I'm doing a Celebrate 100 with Celebrate Delato at the same time, and I'm gonna show 50 Marvel-based Delato covers, or maybe some not Marvel, as well as a signed lithograph I have of his, and an original cover piece that was never used. It's called a cover concept he did, and it's been confirmed and verified. And I've got great confirmed and verified by him, but well, I got it from him. And I'll show a pretty cool. I'm trying to save this signed book by all these artists because it's too many to name. But he's on it. But this is from 2013, and it's got a lot to do with what's going on. I also got that contest going on, the Thankful contest. I want to thank everybody for entering. I'm up to like, I think 43 entries or so. And people, you know, you have till November 17th to make a video, just because I want to mail those books out to make sure you get them priority by Thanksgiving. It's me showing what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for all 18, 19, 20 people in the chat, as well as the 98 subscribers and the 1,000 subscribers to Reggie, the 2,000 subscribers to Bueller, the 250 to Tony Sanders, the 200 tonight for White Whale. Congratulations on hitting 200 today.
Yeah, buddy.
Like
just literally
really
right before
happy
the
everybody
chat.
else.
And it looks like, according to Comic Books NYC, said congrats JD on 100. So I don't know if you just hit it.
Boom. I might have. Well, there you go. Well, then expect to celebrate Gelato if you're going to want to look at those. I've got everything pulled out. The last thing I have is something I have to mention. I have a Women in Comics coming up. My favorite two women comics. I want to do this for breast cancer awareness, and I do raise money for that. And one of the things I'm doing with that is I have a guest piece of original art by an amazing piece that is going up for auction in a couple of days, and I believe it's scheduled to go for probably $90,000.
Holy smokes!
So I have it coming here, and he's gonna stand on the other side over there, but he actually got to go meet to the 4 other art dealers in this town. I live in the art district of the Midwest, they call it, and they have a lot of artists and comic artists live around here and everything else. And he owns this, and he has advertised that he owns it, and he's putting it up for auction because I know what he wants. And I'll have that piece and I really want him to bring this other piece, but he said it would have to come in a safe. But if he brings it, he'll let me hold it for about maybe, literally, I'm going to record this video and then probably do the whole thing later on, or I'll piece it in. I'll figure out how to do it.
Dude. That sounds
but
awesome.
He's letting me do it because I'm kind of working on a deal with him for a cover, and I'm trading a couple of books away with him that he wants that are one of a kind, so to speak. That's
exciting.
Stuff. But that's about what I have working on right now. Thank you.
Very cool. DS Comics said I should have put a link to your guys' channel in the description. Good call. I dropped the ball on that one. But like I said at the beginning, we're still learning. So
we can add it for the replay, though. You can add
for
that.
Sure.
That's easy.
I'll add that in. A lot of people saying congratulations. Appreciate it, everyone. Yeah, John, go ahead.
Yeah, big congrats. But my only concern is that I had 203, and now White Whale's at 202. So you guys got to make sure I need to be like 1 or 2 ahead of White Whale. This is like we're neck and neck. This can't be a thing. We got to make sure we really keep it like 10 ahead. Like let's make that happen.
You should you should be ahead of me for sure.
Just because I've probably been doing it longer. I don't know. Like it's pathetic. I'm very slow at growing, but I'm not paying yet. I'm not paying for any. Nobody's buying anybody, right? We're all just like,
definitely
we're all subbed to each other. I think that's how it works.
How do you buy somebody? Would you bribe them or something?
I don't know.
I get things on Instagram all the time where they're like, pay for subscribers.
I don't want to do that. I like people that like me for what I do, not for
right.
Yeah.
So
I got 2 kids.
I've got Saturday morning comics as usual. We're gonna be, the girls and I will be going through what we've been reading lately. So that'll be Saturday morning. We're pretty much done with soccer. So we can finally be free of you don't know, JD, what that's like until your entire months, like September and October are just a sport. That's pretty much it. It's brutal. So we get to look forward to that.
Yeah, I played hockey growing up, and I played hockey all the way through college. And I just, my mom told me one time, she's like, when I had my son, she's like, I hope he plays hockey, and I hope you have to realize what it's like. And I'm like, hey, if it wasn't for hockey, though, I probably never would have read as many comics as I did.
So I got that on Saturday, and then we're trying to put together something. Kate's finally read a couple of. I make her read it a couple of times. She's read through Frank Miller's Year One, so we're gonna finally have my traumatizing of my daughter caught on YouTube for all to enjoy. We will break down her entertainment or lack thereof for Batman Year One, and that will happen soon this weekend.
That sounds fun. I did put links to your channels, at least in the chat for now, so people can
awesome. Thank you.
Yep, Wingnut is my 100th subscriber.
Nice. Wingnut's a good guy.
Awesome.
Good
Thank
supporter.
you very much, Wingnut.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of things planned in the immediate week or so. I just put up another artist review series on Rob Liefeld, which is an interesting one.
Tiny feet.
Tiny feet.
I only make one foot joke. That's it. I capped it to a minimum. And I have my community.
Did he do nipple cap? Did he do big boobs cap?
Oh yeah. Yep,
yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. Yeah. So I wanted what's Tony Sanders' take on that Captain America? You know?
If anyone's watched any of my other ones, I try to keep them strictly positive, and so I did my best to stand by that.
I love it.
And I have my community project that I just announced, which I won't go into all the details of that, but check out the video.
Yeah, check out that video. Honestly, I think it's really exciting, and I do think everybody should look into it because I'm totally going to submit as well, and I think everybody should. I think it's really I can't wait to see what comes of it. So I'm super interested.
The last thing I want to bring up is I'm putting a link in the chat right now. Miss Hustle, if anyone doesn't know, is having some trouble. She has a GoFundMe that I created a bit.ly for. It's a link. I didn't do any work, but I made a bit.ly to make it easier to share. So if you can help, she's a huge supporter of the community. I'm sure it would be appreciated, but you know, I understand if you can't, but if you can, you know, she supports all of us, so it'd be cool to support her back.
Very nice.
That's all I got.
That's it for me. Next time we're back on my channel. It should be 8 o'clock. No Halloween to deal with, so we're not torturing the East Coasters anymore. The book is Green Lantern 1. It's a new run with Grant Morrison, and just keep paying attention to all of our Instagrams. We'll be shouting out little reminders as we get closer.
Yep, and we will announce the guest once that is finalized. I don't know, John, have we finalized it?
I think so. I think he's just it's Ryan Sir Sergeant from Comic Tom's channel is a nut for Green Lantern. The guy is pushing me and getting me into Green Lantern. I thought it was the perfect person to join us for this topic. And he's just trying to finalize like the computer side. He may be broadcasting straight from Tom's studio. Like they do their live stream at 5, and he would just basically sit in the same seat for another hour or two and then join us again at 8. That seems to be what might happen. I don't know.
I'm surprised Thanatos is excited about Green Lantern. Matt, I didn't expect that.
Right?
I was going to say, Matt. Yeah, Matt, I was going to say, are you going to pick up Green Lantern #1? The question is, how many covers of this are there? How many covers?
I think there are 3. There's an A, a B, and a blank.
Oh, that's nothing. If it was Marvel, there'd be 75 different covers.
I know, right?
I might be wrong. There could be a million of them.
And then everyone would have a sketch variant, and a Virgin sketch variant.
1 500 and 1,000.
Yeah.
Thanatos is like, he's a bigger Green Lantern fan than me.
Yeah.
Matt, I gotta say, I've just started watching your channel. Like I just started clicking into you through Reggie first, through the Comic Wars, and now of course your infamous unboxing. But yeah, Ryan is the one who's guided me through all the Jeff Johns Green Lanterns specifically. I've got a couple of videos on my channel of me slowly working through Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern.
So we're being corrected by a couple people. Apparently there are some retailer variants. Donato says comic reviewer, and Tony Sanders says there's 10 covers.
I have a question for the Green Lantern people. I made a comment, and this is just, I know it's not part of the show, but one of the things I wanted to bring up was concluded that I think the most underrated writer of his era was Denny O'Neil. Does anybody? I mean, for what he did for the character, very underrated. I'm a big fan of writers. I like art. Obviously, I draw myself, but there's something about Denny O'Neil's writing that I'd never read any of his stuff until it was later on, and it just became, well, that's the perfect writing of that era. I think he wrote for his time perfectly.
Denny O'Neil is great. Donato says fact.
Great, thank you, Matt. I needed to know if I was right on this.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to get Thanatos to disagree with you on that one.
Maybe we can have a Donatos and Ryan. Matt and Ryan can do a little face-off next week in the chat.
Call it brightest day and darkest night. That's my.
There you go. Very cool. Well, thanks for everyone for joining. Thanks, John and JD, for hanging out. And
thank you guys very much.
Stop by in the chat. Hope everyone enjoyed it.
Had a great time. Thank you guys.
Very cool. And see everyone next week. Bye.
I love that. Bye.